Greetings, Gatehouse Insiders. We are back with another episode of Gatehouse Insights. In this episode, I'm joined by social media guru Lisa, who will dive deeper into how she transitioned from being a tax lawyer to digital marketing guru, how LinkedIn has changed her life and business, and her new platform, Liznick. And make sure you subscribe to the Gatehouse Legal Recruitment YouTube channel to catch it all. Begin with how you became immersed in the world of digital marketing because you were a tax lawyer in your former life. So tell me a little bit more.
Yeah, so look, it was quite a different, well, when I tell people about my career change, it is quite significant. So I don't think people necessarily associate digital marketing or fashion, actually move from tax to fashion, believe it or not. But for those people who know me, I love fashion. So I was very much probably not destined to do tax for the rest of my life. But I did do a comm law degree when I was at uni, and look, I wanted to be a fashion designer, but my parents didn't think that was the best idea. I actually am so bad at making clothes, so they definitely pushed me in the right direction from that perspective. So my first job out of uni was at KPMG. So I worked in the tax department there, and then I moved to a law firm and then the tax office. And along the way, I actually accidentally fell into digital marketing because to be honest with you, I was never super passionate about tax. I had a great lecturer who sort of got me into it, but what I was passionate about was sharing stories and creating content. And I think around 2010, the blogging world was just taking off. So I actually started a blog, and I actually distinctly remember that moment when I was sitting in my bedroom going, I think I might start a blog about fashion. And I just started posting, and I loved it. So I have always loved writing and, sharing knowledge and sharing learnings and stories. So that blog evolved into a website, which is still going today, which reports on fashion, beauty, and lifestyle news in Melbourne and Australia. So that gave me a little bit of an insight into the digital marketing world. And it was funny because I was talking to somebody who used to be a blogger as well, and we were part of that initial, I guess, early bloggers who would go out to events a long time ago. And we were just joking because I was saying I'd honestly go to the opening of an envelope. So if someone was launching a new sock line, I'd probably go to that because I was just so excited. And I remember actually getting changed in my car after work to go to Fashion Week. Like, it was just such a cool juxtaposition between the I guess more conservative legal industry, and then going out and seeing the latest restaurants and the latest fashion, runway shows and beauty launches. So that really gave me an insight into a world that I'd never really discovered before. And digital especially was just growing exponentially. So, when I think back to even 2007, I think that's when I first got on Facebook. It's just changed dramatically since then. So I always wanted to be a part of an industry that was constantly evolving. And obviously with tax, it's not the fastest paced industry. So from working in tax, I was able to go and work at Witchery in their marketing department. So I was really lucky actually, because the person who was managing me there at the time saw some potential in me and saw that I was really passionate about fashion and marketing. So she gave me a chance to work in the team and manage their loyalty program there. So I was there for about a year, and then started this company about 5 years ago. So here I am today doing something that I love, which is very fortunate. I've got an incredible team, incredible clients, so could not be happier.
What you mentioned your parents, didn't like the idea of you going into fashion, and how were they when you transitioned from law to digital marketing? What was there?
I don't think they still even know what's going on half the time. I think for them, they're just so not in the world of digital marketing at all. Like, I don't even think they've got Facebook or anything. I just helped my dad set up a LinkedIn account, but they look to be fair, like, they really probably have no idea what I'm doing, but they can see that I'm really happy. So if I ever need their support for something, then they'll be the first to put their hand up and, assist me with anything that I need. So I don't think they really fully get what I'm doing. But I think that's the best thing about parents. Ultimately, they want you to be happy, so they can see that I'm a lot happier now than I was working in a corporate job that I didn't love. And to be honest, at the time, I didn't even really focus on mental health. And I don't even think mental health was even part of the discussion when I was working in corporate. And I was really quite down because I hated my job and I was counting down to 5 every day. So, I think now working on my mental health has been exponentially so much better for my career. And I really encourage, I know that your listeners, a lot of them would be in the law space, like definitely make sure that you're investing in your mental health because it's such a high pressure industry and things are constantly happening and, there's high expectations. So if you don't invest in your mental health, like you can definitely get burnt out really quickly.
Yeah. We meet a lot of lawyers that are not necessarily happy in their role, but they think they need to stick it out. How did you, what gave you the motivation to change and do something totally different to law?
Yes, that's actually, like I see, and I hear about that a lot because obviously working at Big Four accounting, you have a lot of people that don't love what they're doing. And to be honest with you, I'm very much like an all or nothing person. So, oh my God, I just saw a dog walk past. I've always been happy to take risks. So if you want to just do a career change and you want to take on something new or take on a project, the quickest way to do that and get to where you want to go is by doing it full time and doing that as your 9 to 5 instead of working for someone else or in a job that you're not happy with. But that's not always possible because people have financial commitments. People are often nervous to start something new. So I would definitely say if you're looking to make a career change or you want to start your own venture, you can do it on the side and there's nothing wrong with that. So I actually, when I was working in the tax office, I did an unpaid internship. I was doing it, I think, 2 or 3 days a week in a marketing company. And I really just wanted to understand what the world was about, make some networks, make some connections. So I took that financial risk. And then when I made the transition from law to marketing, I pretty much halved my pay. And then when I started my own company, obviously went to 0. So, I think people, if they want to make a change, they have to be willing to make a sacrifice. So you might have to work harder or study outside of hours or take a pay cut or go to no pay for starting your own business. But if that's what you want to do, then, you should not let anything stand in your way and go for it. And I remember when I started my business, I just said, there's no plan B. This just has to work. And then so I just poured in my heart and soul into just making sure that, it actually was successful. Hopefully successful, still going, still trying.
I love how you had no plan B. It's the best. Just to make it work.
But that's the thing, like you actually then don't give yourself an option because if you start to, give yourself wiggle room, as humans, we naturally go, it's like as soon as you say the word try, it's like that's just wiggle room. Like you're definitely not going to do whatever you're saying you're going to do. So I always try and avoid that word, I always avoid using that word because as soon as I give myself the room to negotiate with myself, then I'm not going to say exercise 3 days a week if I say I'm only going to try to do that. So it's interesting how language can be so powerful and it can really change your approach to life.
Now, you post a lot on LinkedIn, and I've read that you've said before, posting on LinkedIn has really changed your life. Can you dive deeper into how it's changed your life and your business?
Honestly, how long do you have? I could talk about LinkedIn all day. Like people think I work for LinkedIn. That's how much I'm obsessed with it. But to be honest with you, I was not really on LinkedIn till about 12 months ago. So I would use it for the same thing that a lot of people do, looking for a job, going on to just build my network. And I never saw it as a content platform. So coming from a world of Instagram, which is very much about content sharing, it really gave me a good foundation into starting to think about the process of how I would share content on LinkedIn. And then one of my business partners was posting content on LinkedIn, and I was saying to him, good on you for doing that. I would recommend doing X, Y, Z. And he goes, okay, great. And then I'd say, and here's some more feedback and here's some more feedback. And he's like, can you guys just do this for me? It's getting too hard. I go, actually, probably we could. And at the time we just offered Instagram and Facebook management. And I thought, why not try LinkedIn management? And it's been the fastest growing area of our business because it's the best platform for B2B marketing. There's actually no competition. It's like the best place to not only attract and get in front of business people, but build your personal brand in the business world. Now, I talk to a lot of people about posting on LinkedIn, and they're too nervous to, especially females for some reason. And, you know, I look at men and I just go, they don't give a shit. Like, I look at all of our clients and they're all men, and they don't care. Like, they don't care if they don't feel like they've got the credentials to do something, or the years of success, or the position in business. They just post, and they're, you know, comfortable to do that. And I think women definitely need to take a leaf out of, you know, the book of a man. I can't even think of what I'm trying to say there, but definitely try and emulate that, because, you know, as women, we have an incredible amount of knowledge to share, and there's a lot of obviously women on the platform too. I think it's probably almost an even split, but women don't have as many women to look up to. So I get messages actually all the time just saying, oh, it's really great to see a woman on the platform sharing content. You know, thank you for doing that. I'm like, I'm not even anyone special. I'm just someone who loves consuming content and who loves sharing content as well. So I would definitely say, you know, it's changed my life because it helped me get investment into my business. It helped me interview and get access to incredible people like the co-founder of Netflix. So I actually messaged him on LinkedIn and had the chance to interview him. It's got, you know, it's enabled me to run for Deputy Lord Mayor of Melbourne. We unfortunately didn't win, but that's a story for another day. But they were actually originally going to talk to me because I was so active on social. And then they said, actually, can you run? Because we can see that you're really passionate about helping small business and giving back to the business community. I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm all about. And the fact is, people know that about me because I put it out there and because I share it. So, you know, I've had incredible opportunities to speak at global webinars, you know, at events, and, you know, speak a lot about LinkedIn. But it's just been the most incredible opportunity and resource for me. And I do believe that if you're a business owner, you 1,000% need to be posting and getting active on LinkedIn. If you work for someone else, you definitely should be as well. And I think the biggest challenge facing people who work for a company is that companies haven't empowered their people to post on the platform. So they don't tell them what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. They don't give them assets that they can also share. And that's a really big missed opportunity, because your team and your people are going to be the best ambassadors for your business. So why not arm them with the ability to be posting and sharing on their channels? And the benefit of LinkedIn is the fact that the algorithm is really primed for organic reach at the moment. So if you're trying to grow on Instagram and Facebook, there's not as much organic reach. So once upon a time, 80% of your audience would see your content. Now you'd be lucky if 10% see your content. So with LinkedIn, there's still that incredible reach because it's what we call a content deficit platform. So there's actually more users than content on the platform, but there's 9 billion content impressions on LinkedIn globally every week, but only 3 million people are posting. So there's 700 million people on the platform. So there's barely anyone actually taking advantage of that reach and of those eyeballs. So I always just say to our clients or potential people, it's like, you should be all over that as a platform. Like, it is sitting there waiting to be taken advantage of, and people are just too scared. So I'm living proof that you don't even have to be posting for 10 years. I've been posting for a year and it's totally changed my life. You just have to start, and that's always the hardest bit. But once you get into a rhythm, like, you get addicted and you'll, you know, lose all sense of time like I do, and I'm always just on the platform.
Why do you think people are too scared to post on the platform, and how do they build confidence and get over that, them being scared?
Look, unfortunately, we place too much value in what other people think of us. So people are really scared to post something and have a negative comment, or have someone go, why are you posting? And actually someone from my team posted a video, and I was really proud of her, because it's not easy to put yourself out there. And she posted a video, shout out to Liv. I was really proud of her. And she said that some of her friends messaged her and said, what are you wearing? Or why are you posting, like, stuff like that? And I just thought, what are these people doing? Like, how, like, why be like that? It's honestly, it's quite, I don't know, I just feel awful when I hear that. And I think it's actually stopped her from posting because it's like people because I know that people are judging my content. I have no doubt that people are going, her content's boring. She has no idea what she's talking about, but I don't really give a shit. Like, I don't actually care about that because, and Gary Vee puts this really well. He goes, don't put people's opinions ahead of your own happiness and potential success. And I really do agree with that, because a lot of the people that actually say negative things or are rude or try and bring you down are just hurting themselves, and they're struggling themselves. So it's easier to push themselves up if they push you down, because they can, I guess, effectively stand on your shoulders. So I would say to people out there, like, you need to really work on why you put so much weight on other people's opinions, and then work out how you can move past that, because there's amazing opportunities on the other side, but you're letting these people's opinions unfortunately stop you from doing those amazing things. And you can't change people's opinions. You can't stop them from having opinions of you. So why do you actually let it stop you from doing what you're going to do? Because those people probably have opinions anyway. So I just don't let it stop me, and I just post whatever I want to post. And because I believe that like attracts like, on the whole, my experience on LinkedIn has actually been incredibly positive. Like, I don't think it's like one of those platforms like Instagram or Twitter where it's actually a lot more like, it's like more of a troll culture. LinkedIn, because it's meant to be professional, you generally get a lot more professional people on there. Having said that, though, there are a lot of sleazy men on LinkedIn. So honestly, if you guys could stop, that would be amazing, because women are just trying to further their career or grow their business. They don't want to be proposed to or sent inappropriate pictures or harassed on the platform. Like, it's not Tinder, so please just try and keep it professional. But on the whole, I've just found, the community that I've been fortunate enough to connect with, like, they've just been incredible, and they've been a huge amount of support to me. And I really hope that I've been able to just give back at least something little to help them with their life. Even it can just be one post that might change the way they look at the world, or help them get through the day. Like, that's what I really love, to hopefully give back and help people where I can, with all my learnings that I've had from the many mistakes that I've made.
Now, I suppose there's the first thing that people aren't confident to post, but then if they are confident to post, the next question they ask themselves is, what do I post about? How do we create, I suppose, or how do they create content that is useful, engaging, and will attract people? How do you go about creating a strategy or a plan with content?
Look, that's the $1 million question. I get asked that question a lot. And so, say, for example, when we're working with our clients, we'll do an onboarding meeting with them, and almost like a discovery session, to really understand what they want to focus on and what their objectives are for the platform. So we want to understand things as small as what their tone of voice is, what they're interested in, how they obtain knowledge, what their area of expertise is, what they're passionate about. And usually what they're passionate about really, for me, is super important, because, the benefit of, say, doing video content about something that you're passionate about is you can see someone's passion. So it's really hard to communicate passion in a text post or an image, but with a video, you can really see that someone's like loving what they're talking about. So when you watch me talk about LinkedIn, you go, yeah, she's obsessed with LinkedIn. You can really tell. So I would say start off with what you're trying to achieve from being on the platform. So say, for example, if you're trying to get a new job, then try and establish yourself as a thought leader in the space that you're trying to get a job in. So if it's a particular industry and there's lots of changes in that industry, do regular updates on those changes, because you never know who's watching. And I think that's the exciting thing about LinkedIn. Like, even sometimes I'll meet people randomly out, and they'll go, I follow you on LinkedIn. I'm like, oh, really? Like, my content's crap. Like, it's not like I feel like it's anything special, but it's incredible to think, like, I'll look at that person and go, oh my God, you're like the head of marketing of a big 4 bank, and you have actually seen my content. That's crazy to me. So you just never know who's watching. So I think that's the exciting opportunity. So definitely focus on that technical content, which is that thought leadership piece, but also focus on general business content as well. So it might be something as simple as, I finished reading the book by Bob Iger, CEO of Disney. This is the key learning I took from that. So that could be really interesting, something to share. So I would focus on, obviously, it still has to be business related and relate somewhat to career or running a business, but don't feel like it has to be very technical. It can still be quite broad. So you can talk about culture, you can talk about leadership, management, challenges that you're facing, mistakes that you've made. There's lots of different topics, and pick things that you're passionate about. Now, also, I would say at the start, you can just start posting a whole lot of different things and see what your audience wants from you. And then you can go, okay, those posts about culture and leadership we're really engaged with. So those are going to be my main content pillars. Because the problem is, if you're too broad, then people are like, oh, well, like, why am I following you? Is it because of you're talking about leadership, but then 2 seconds later you're talking about culture, and then you're talking about starting a business, and you talk about something else. So if you can try and specialize in certain areas so people have a reason to follow you, because people are more likely to follow specialists as opposed to potentially people who are just scattergun talking about a whole lot of general stuff. So I talk a lot about, I actually rarely talk about digital marketing. I've optimized my profile so people know that I talk about, or that we do digital marketing, but I talk about digital marketing. I talk about, tips for small business in general business space. So like my experience with starting a company and scaling a company. I talk about getting over fears. Like I talk about openly about my challenges with public speaking and how I'm working on overcoming that. I talk about mental health. So those are my key pillars that I talk about, and I generally then write down in my phone, in my notes section, if I'm listening to a podcast or I've just read a book or I've just got some great advice from someone, I'll then write it in my notebook. And I'm a bit weird because I actually generally do my content on the day that I post the content, and I think a lot more people are a bit more process driven and organized. I'm not process driven whatsoever. I just go, what do I feel like posting today? And then I'll go through my notes and go, oh yeah, I could do a video on that. And then I'll just do a video and then just post it straight away. Whereas with our clients, we generally get their content organized at least a month in advance, because they don't necessarily want to be harassed every day going, okay, Louise, what are you going to post about today? So, because then you'd be like, oh my God, I've got like a million things to do. This is the last thing I want to think about. So for me, I just do it first thing in the morning before I've checked my emails. I do my video. Otherwise, if I start sitting down at my computer and get distracted, I'm never going to post because I get bogged down with all the things I need to do. So that works for my schedule. So I think find something that's going to actually work for your schedule and going to be able to be something that you can realistically keep going with. Because if you make it too hard for yourself and you go, I'm going to post every single day, the minute that you miss a day for whatever reason, you'll then go, oh, I feel really, I feel bad now because I missed a day and I'm supposed to post every day. And then you start to lose momentum. So be realistic. So it might just be going, okay, I'm going to start posting once a week. And it's going to be an article that I found really interesting, or the best piece of advice that I learned that week. And you can just start off small. Now, one thing to learn about the LinkedIn algorithm, though, is it doesn't favor sharing content. So if you share a post from another page, it can be a business page or a person, it won't actually do as well. And also the algorithm doesn't favor posting on business pages. So if you're posting on a business page and you have way less followers on your personal page, post on your personal page as well, because you'll probably get more engagement than a business page. And that's because LinkedIn want people to connect. Well, people actually naturally collect more with people. So we tend to find that more personal type content will perform better than a business page. And business pages tend to not have that human element in it. It might just be a photo of a building or something saying, this is our latest project or this is our latest initiative, and it lacks that human element. Whereas a personal page tends to be actually very personal, and it's like the person sharing something that they might have learned recently, or like myself, just me on a video talking about a quote that I might have read that might help someone. So yeah, sorry, that was like a really
That's good. And it's good to know that, because I often see people like and reshare from other people's posts and from company pages, but it's good to know that LinkedIn doesn't really like it, so people should be posting on their personal pages. That's a really handy tip, I think.
Yes. Yeah, they should be posting natively on their pages as opposed to sharing. So what that means is, say, for example, if there's a video on YouTube, the company's posted, ideally you should be posting that video natively onto your LinkedIn. It will just reach significantly more people, because think of it, as a platform, LinkedIn's goal is to keep you on the platform as long as possible. So anything that's going to be a link off the page, they're not going to actually push. They're not going to actually give as much organic reach. And also they want people to keep coming to the platform. So they want people to keep creating their own original content, because that's what keeps getting people to come back, because you'll then have people going through their feed and they'll say, they'll have the people that they follow and they'll be interested to watch their content that's actually happening, or content they actually enjoy. Now, another practical tip for people is make sure that your profile is optimized to do whatever you want it to do. So for example, if you're running your own business, make sure it's really clear in your headline what you actually do. So if you work for a company like Amazon or Apple or Tesla or Virgin, people know what those companies are, so you don't need to specify. But if I just had in my profile CODI Agency, people were like, I don't even know what CODI Agency is. So I need to put in my profile that we do digital marketing, my headline. So I think that for me is a really big missed opportunity, because I see people, they'll go either just like managing director. I'm like, firstly, managing director of what company? That should be in there. And then secondly, what does that company do? So that's a big tip for the headline. And that's really valuable real estate, because as you're going through your feed, that actual headline is something that you will see. So make sure that that is really important, because that is on point, because you won't see someone's experience. You won't get to see their bio. You don't get to see their banner. You just get to see that headline in their profile shot. So on the topic of profile shots, make sure it looks professional. I've seen so many bad profile shots on LinkedIn, and I actually did a webinar the other day for LinkedIn, and I was saying that I get so many requests from people and they look like a serial killer in their profile shot. And I go, are you joking right now? I'm definitely not going to accept that request, because you look like you could actually murder someone. I listen to a lot of crime podcasts. That's probably the way my mind is wired. But make sure it's like a professional shot. Make sure it's not just cropped from a social media shot, from a social shot, like you out on a Friday night. So I see a lot of people with really unprofessional LinkedIn profiles, profile pictures. So just make sure it accurately represents you. And also, if you have a company or you work for a company, see if they've got a banner, because that is valuable real estate, especially as a company owner, a business owner. You should make sure that you not only have a banner that represents your company, but everyone in your team has one as well. Because imagine that big sign with your brand on it, like that's on everyone. If that's on everyone that works for you's profile, then that's just great real estate for you. So that's definitely something that I would 100% do. And then the other big mistake I see on LinkedIn is people writing about the company they either work for or their own business in their about section. So that about section is meant to be about you. It's not meant to be about your business or what your company that you work for does. It really is about your background, and you're not limited by where you worked or timelines. You can talk about anything. So you can talk about the fact that you're hungry to learn, or you're someone that's really focused on customer service, or you're someone who's had a really varied and unique career. So make that really about you and make it really interesting, because if you just have a big chunk of text that's super boring, no one's even going to read it. So with mine, I tried to break it up, added a few emojis because that's in line with my brand. And then I just tried to make it not so dense and inject a little bit of personality into it.
Yeah, platform to communicate with our audience, our target markets. There's Instagram, there's Twitter, there's TikTok, Facebook. What are your thoughts? Okay, what are your thoughts on TikTok? And it's quite new. I don't know. I haven't posted on TikTok. So yeah, what are your thoughts on all those other platforms?
A great question. So I want to give you a quick rundown. Twitter is great for people. So it's really very much like a personal platform. So unless you're a brand like a Netflix, then I think Twitter's a little bit harder, because it's really designed for people to respond to comments and share their opinions. And it's not that big in Australia. So I would say if you've got limited time and budget, I wouldn't personally invest in Twitter. If you obviously you want to target the masses, like they're still on Instagram and Facebook. The challenge with those platforms is that you really need to pay to play. So if you want to reach an audience, you're going to need to invest in social ads or boost your content. So those are the challenges with those two platforms. Now, TikTok is crazy. So TikTok is something that we're working on with our clients at the moment, and there's a massive opportunity on TikTok. It's still really, I think, a challenge for a lot of brands to get on there and work out what exactly to do on TikTok. So just to give you TikTok in a nutshell, it's a video sharing platform. It's got a lot of different filters, virtual reality, augmented reality functions. You can go viral really quickly. Now, the reason why I would say to get on TikTok is that the growth and reach opportunities are crazy. So and Gary Vee actually gave some great advice, when there's a new social platform, he goes on it for 10 hours and he posts 10 pieces of content. And that's the best way to actually explore it and to actually understand the algorithm. So I started doing this. My content was terrible, but I had this video go viral on TikTok. So at the time, I think I had about 20 followers, and within 2 days, I think it'd been seen by, I posted a video, it'd been seen by 10,000 people. And then for the next 3 months, it just kept pushing out my content every couple of days. So now it's been seen by just under 500,000 people. It wasn't even good content, which is really disappointing. So the TikTok algorithm can really make content go viral and push content out. So if you're a brand, why wouldn't you want that opportunity? Whereas things pretty much won't go viral on Instagram or Facebook. So if you're thinking of reaching a particular market, then definitely TikTok is a huge opportunity. It's definitely a Gen Z predominantly focused market. So I would say the biggest proportion of the market is between 15 to 30, I would say. But during lockdown, obviously a lot of us were really bored and wanted to become TikTok famous. So the actual age or range for older people has increased. So there's more and more people who are, over 30. I shouldn't say over 30 is old because I'm in that category, but they're definitely, the amount of people in that space is actually increasing on TikTok. Now, the best thing about TikTok is the creators on the platform are incredibly talented. So if you're going to want to work with influencers, TikTok is an amazing platform for that. So we work on influencer campaigns on TikTok, and then we can actually use that content as ads on TikTok. So TikTok are actually it's one of the best platforms that's really pioneering that use of organic content as ads. So once upon a time, people used to push out really ad looking content. So or ad looking ads. So it looked like graphic design, and it would be like, this is my business, come work with us. Whereas people are ad blind now, so that's not going to work. So what people do is really try and use ad content on TikTok that has been created by a TikToker. And if you go on TikTok and you start to explore your feed, you'll see that every fifth image is actually, or every fifth piece of content is an ad. So the way TikTok operates though is it doesn't want to make it look like there's ads all the time. So the CTA for the ad will pop up after 3 seconds. So you won't even necessarily realize it's an ad unless it obviously looks like an ad. So if you can make that content look like organic content, then people will most likely be exposed to your brand and watch the content in full. So that's really the difference I see. That's actually the future of really marketing, doing that organic content type marketing. So TikTok is 100% pioneering that space. Now, can you be a professional on TikTok? Absolutely you can. So I see a lot of people say marketing experts, even legal experts, skincare experts, and the type of content they do is very different. So they're not necessarily doing dance challenges or lip syncing challenges. They might do short videos that say, for example, say you're in the legal space, it's like the top 5 things to think about when you're looking for a contract. And they might just have these things that just go, point 1 pops up, point 2 pops up, point 3 pops up, point 4 pops up, point 5 pops up. So it's very niche content, but because they're so specialized in that content, they'll attract an audience who's interested in it. So I would say that if you're looking to take advantage of a social media platform that has organic reach, I would be all over LinkedIn and TikTok, given the current state of play of all the platforms that are available.
Yeah, very good. Okay. Moving on to your new platform, Liznick. Yes. Tell us more about it.
So that actually started, I think we've been working on it for a couple of months now, but my business partner, Nick, and I realized that there was like a real appetite for people wanting to get mentored. And like a lot of people message us to say, can we catch up for coffee? Love, to take an hour of your time to talk about my career or a business that I'm trying to grow. And whilst we would love to do that, we've got such limited time because he's working on like about 1,000 businesses. He's crazy busy. But I'm obviously trying to work on my business. And I always think about like, I barely have time to see my clients or my team, let alone a stranger who's wanting to pick my brains. And obviously if I had all the time in the world, I would help as many people as I could. So then we started realizing, okay, so we did a post on LinkedIn because we do content together. And we said, hey, where do people find mentors? And, hopefully other people could jump on and give some people some tips on where to find them. But we realized there was actually nowhere really to find a good mentor. So we thought, why don't we actually try and create a platform where people can post a job and actually say, I'm looking for a mentor to help me with my fear of public speaking or scaling my business or starting a business idea. So we actually will have business mentors on the platform and what we call mind mentors. So they'll be like therapists and psychologists. We know that whether you're trying to accelerate your career or fast track your business, there's a real mental health component that's important for that. So they'll be able to post a job and then people can actually kind of bid on that job. So we similar model to like a freelancer or Airtasker. And you can actually find anyone anywhere in the world because we're not limiting it by an in-person relationship. All the sessions will be done through the platform. So that's what we're building at the moment. And goddamn, we didn't realize it would be so much work. I remember when we did a video to promote it, we go, okay, Nick goes, okay, so we'll be launching in 8 weeks. And I was like, I don't think we can launch it in 2 months. And I think our devs were like having a heart attack in the background going, that's not going to happen. So it's been a lot longer than we've realized to actually build it. But what we've done is because we've been building our profiles and building our audience on LinkedIn, we've been able to leverage off that to promote and take people on the journey of listening and tell people like, this is what we're working on at the moment. So we did a video on the values that we, as we're doing our company values, we shared a video about, when you're building a company, do your values. This is why it's really important. So we've tried to get people to be invested in the company as we've actually started building it. And for me, that's a really exciting opportunity because a lot of people don't even have an audience. And then they go, hey guys, we're launching our company and there's no one to actually promote it to. So I was actually talking to someone yesterday saying that no matter what you decide to do in life, having an audience is one of the most valuable things that you can invest in, especially if you're an entrepreneur, because that means every time you launch a new product, you can then post about it and share an update on it or share the journey or share that this is your new venture. So we've been able to get signups and thousands of signups to the site purely just from posting about it on LinkedIn. And I think a lot of people are very scared to share their journey and share their ideas. But the reality is, honestly, if someone wants to create a platform as well, good luck to them because it is a lot of work. So it's not like someone's going to be able to quickly pop up and rip off your idea. So I would encourage people to create an audience and cultivate and invest in that. So when you actually do have projects, you can share that with them. So we're hopefully looking to launch that early next year, but you can go to listnick.com, which is LASNIC.com to sign up for early access now. And people always go, "What? Oh, that's a really cool name. What's that mean?" And it's literally just the combination of the first 3 letters of our first names. So we were not creative at all. Honestly, it's like, I feel like every .com's bloody taken because we wanted the .com. And I'm like, how is this .com taken? Like I put in something really random, like that's taken. That's crazy. So that's a bit of background about how we chose the name. So if you're wanting to create a business name, you want a .com, just make sure you do all the research first before you lock in all of that, because you quickly realize that there's a lot of people just squatting on domains doing absolutely nothing, just wanting to sell them, which is really annoying. So we really hope that this is going to not only help people, like help mentees get better at what they want to do. So whether that's, running their own business or working for, wanting to fast track their career, but it will also give people a chance to earn a little bit of extra money. So there's a lot of people obviously who are potentially struggling for money at the moment because of the pandemic. So if they've got years of experience in a particular industry, or they're, say, qualified psychologists, they can earn a little bit of extra money by getting on the platform and helping people out. So we hope that it will be, hopefully people want to use it, and it will be well received because we've put in a lot of work into it. So we always joke, we say it's either going to go really well or literally no one is going to use it. So fingers crossed it goes well, because we really believe in honestly, having a mentor, that is one of the crucial things that you need in business, because that's going to help you get to where you want to go faster. It's going to help take away a lot of heartache. It would take away a lot of, but I'm sure running a business, there's a lot of mistakes that you make, a lot of time that you waste, a lot of money that you waste. So if you can avoid all those, why wouldn't you? So if you get the right mentor, then you can actually have someone along the journey with you, so you don't feel so alone. or if you're wanting to advance your career, you can have someone who's done it before you and has actually walked that path. Especially, say if you're a woman in business, you can find a mentor that can say, hey, I'm also a woman in business. I've worked in a man's world. I know what it's like. These are some tips that I have for you. So you can have a mentor and be his mentor as much or as little as you want. You can have 10 mentors if you want across all different facets of your career. There's just a huge opportunity in the space, and we really hope that we can help a lot of people at scale with the project.
I'm a big advocate of mentors, and we have I've built a tech platform as well in HR tech, and we've been working on it for years and a couple of years now, and I never had mentors until I had to build this piece of technology. And as you said, you think, oh, it's going to be, you don't realize how much time and effort and money and all that is involved. And I remember I was on the hunt for looking for really good mentors, and I now have 3 really good mentors that every time I face an issue, I go to them first. There's a problem. I email them. I'm like, can we have a chat? Because I know that by not getting their guidance, I would make mistakes, and I would go down some random black rabbit hole that I won't be able to get out of. And I only realized the value of having them when I was doing this tech platform, because it's technology and IT. It's a whole different world, and you can go down a different path so quickly and lose a lot of money. So I think it will do really well. And I think a lot of people crave or want people to learn from, and they want people to learn from mistakes from, so their mistakes. So
oh God. And look, running a business, like, you make a lot. I make mistakes every single day, unfortunately. Probably should just try and listen to my mentors more, but it's just part of the process, and we're all human. So I think if you can avoid as many of them as possible, then you'll definitely get to where you want to go faster and with a lot less heartache.
Lisa, this has been incredible. So thank you for joining me today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. Sorry, I really love talking about things that I love. So I've gone off on probably about 10,000 tangents, and I've just spoken a lot, but really appreciate, you asked me to come on and to give me a chance to share, things that along my journey that I hope will help other people. And, big congrats to you for creating such an amazing resource that will help a lot of people out there on their career journeys.
And there you have it. Another episode of Gatehouse Insights draws to an end. Thank you for watching, and thank you for sharing this video with your friends. And if you haven't already done so, make sure you subscribe to the Gatehouse Legal Recruitment YouTube channel, where you can see more.